Hello, this is Jerry Spinelli, Production Horticulture Advisor with the University of California Cooperative Extension for San Diego for nurseries and floriculture. This is the fourth video of a series about the leaching fraction. In the previous videos we have defined what the leaching fraction is and we have suggested two methods to measure it in the field. In this video I want to talk about how to calculate the recommended leaching fraction given your conditions. And this brings me to why do we leach in the first place? Why do we have a leaching fraction? What is this all about? When we irrigate our plant that is in our container with substrate, we apply water. But that water contains some salts. And of course, the quality of your irrigation water depends on what the source is. In San Diego County, the groundwater typically has poor water quality. So if you're irrigating from a well, probably you will have relatively high salinity. If you irrigate from water from the water authority, that water has a lot less salinity, although it's expensive. So some growers prefer to irrigate from the well, even if the quality is lower. So as we irrigate, the plant uses mostly water and leaves the salt behind. And so at the next irrigation cycle, we'll apply some more water and some more salts, and so on. And pretty soon, the concentration of salts in our container will become so high that the plant will get damaged. So, to manage this situation, we over-irrigate. So we apply some additional quantity of water that is intended to leach these salts and to remove these salts from the container and keep them at a concentration that doesn't damage our plant. Now, this quantity will depend on the salinity of the irrigation water. If the irrigation water is not very salty, we will not have to leach that much. We will have to apply a smaller leaching fraction. If the irrigation water is very salty, we will have to leach a lot. Now, how do you measure how salty is your irrigation water? Well, you can take a sample and take it to the lab, but these days there are instruments like this one that has an electrode, and you can just put the electrode inside the sample of your irrigation water, and they come with a little unit with a display. And so you can read right on the display the electrical conductivity of your irrigation water. Why do we use electrical conductivity? So EC for electrical conductivity, and in this case we measured 1.8 and the unit is decisiemens per meter. This electrical conductivity is a measure of the ability of materials to conduct electricity. In this case, the material is our water. So the higher this number, the higher the ability of our water to conduct electricity. But it turns out that the ability of water to conduct electricity is determined by how many salts are dissolved in this water. And so this electrical conductivity, this property of the water, is used as a proxy, is used as a method to measure really the concentration of salts. And this is the conversion factor. 1 decisiemens per meter equals 640 ppm. So this ppm may be a unit that some of you are more familiar with, that describe the concentration of salts in the water. So now finally we can calculate our leaching fraction. So leaching fraction, LFR, R for recommended, is the ratio of what we measured, 1.8, divided the concentration that we want our leachate to have. And the expert recommend 6 decisiemens per meter to 9 decisiemens per meter for most ornamentals. And selecting this number is something that will have to be based on your experience or maybe on some experimentation. And that is something that you will have to figure out. But these are 2 good numbers to start from. And let's say that in our case we pick 6. And of course, the more water you apply, the larger the leaching fraction is, the more diluted this leachate will be, and the safer also your plants will be. So if you want to be perfectly safe, pick 6. It's safer than 9 for your plants. So in our case, I pick 6, and the leaching fraction recommended will be 0.3. So about 30%, a little less than a third of the water that we apply will have to leach to manage our salts. But in this case, this is pretty bad water. This is a pretty high salinity for irrigation water. The water from the aqueduct in the Central California irrigation project is about 0.6 decisiemens per meter. That's good quality water. So it's expected that with this relatively high salinity, we will have to apply a relatively high leaching fraction. In the next video, I will show you how much water, what's the volume of water that you have to apply to your container in order to achieve this leaching fraction. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.